We get it, you want to save a buck wherever you can, but when it comes to protecting your home, that's one place where you always want to use the best. Let's go over why we use traditional miniature circuit breakers, or MCBs, in all of our products instead of these inexpensive toggle or push button thermal breakers. Some of the drawbacks of these inexpensive thermal breakers is that many of them are designed for supplementary protection, not primary circuit protection. These types of devices often follow a UL 1077 standard, which is much less stringent than the UL 489 standard used by true branch circuit breakers. Another limitation is the trip mechanism. Most of these thermal breakers rely primarily on thermal protection, meaning that they trip when the circuit overheats. But typically, they don't provide the same instantaneous magnetic protection for short circuits that a true breaker does. They also tend to have a much lower short circuit interruption capacity, often under 1 kiloamp, which is far lower than a true breaker. Another drawback is visual indication. With these breakers, you typically only have on or off. If the breaker is off, there's really no way for you to know whether or not it was tripped due to a fault or if somebody flipped it on accident. They're also affected by ambient temperature. If the panel is mounted in a hot location, say in the direct sunlight, they can trip earlier than intended. In colder environments, they may delay tripping when protection is actually needed. On top of that, they can take seconds to respond to overload conditions, which can slow down protection when a circuit begins to overheat. They also tend to have a much more limited mechanical life, and in many cases, they can be immediately reset even if the fault exists. And lastly, they don't support integrated protection options like GFCI or AFCI, and they're not designed for flexible system upgrades. Now, compare that to traditional miniature circuit breakers. MCBs provide circuit protection and meet the UL 489 standard, which requires significantly more rigorous testing. They also use two trip mechanisms, thermal protection for overload condition and magnetic protection for trips that happen instantly during short circuits. The magnetic trip allows them to react in milliseconds when a short circuit occurs. MCBs also have a much higher short circuit interrupt capacity, often around 10 kiloamps, meaning that they can safely stop large fault currents. Another advantage is the clear visual indication. These breakers have 3 positions, on, trip, and off, so you immediately know whether the breaker was tripped because of a fault. They also have reset discipline, meaning that if the fault still exists, the breaker will trip immediately again after you try to reset it. MCBs are also calibrated across wide temperature ranges, so whether you're in Las Vegas in the summer or in Boston in the winter, they're designed to perform consistently every time. They're also built to withstand thousands of electrical operations and repeated fault events, giving them a much longer service life. And finally, they offer great system flexibility. You can upgrade to different amperage ratings, different trip curves, or integrated protection like GFCI, AFCI, or double pole breakers, just like this one. Now yes, MCBs cost more, often several times more than these toggle protectors. That's because they're designed to survive real electrical faults, not just respond to overheating. And in our eyes, that's a small price to pay when it comes to protecting your largest investment. Thanks for watching.